Good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to the Tarrant County College District Board of Trustees meeting with today being June 23rd, 2022. I'd like to welcome everyone that is live streaming as well. We'll call the meeting to order, and we'll start off with any public comment. Mr. Gates? Okay, no public comment. We'll go right into the board business items and announcements. We'll start with 3A, approval of work session minutes from May the 12th. Does anyone have any questions or comments on those? Otherwise, we'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Move for approval, Mr. Barr, and second by Dr. Morrison. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 3B, the approval of Board of Trustees meeting minutes from May 26, 2022. You have had an opportunity to look at the draft. Anyone have any questions or comments? We'll entertain a motion from Dr. Morrison.
Second.
And a second by Mr. Hornsby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Approval of special of the board meeting minutes from June 2nd, 2022. Everyone's had an opportunity to look at those. If you have any comments or questions, otherwise, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved from Mr. Greenhill.
Second.
Second by Mr. Barr. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. We'll go ahead and start with our trustee activities. Mr. Hornsby, if you don't mind starting.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
President Ayala.
Yes.
Good afternoon, evening. It is. I did go to the Community College, what they call it, Community College Association of Texas Trustees, but there are some others that will speak on that conference that we went to, their annual meeting on last week. And that was a wonderful thing. The one thing that I want to highlight, there was a young man that I spoke with on Monday. He was in the office of Dr. Carrie Thompson. His name was Roosevelt Skaggs. He's a junior at Princeton University. And he came by to tell her, because he had written, he's a computer science major, and he had written into one of his professors there in a paper that he got his interest in computers at College for Kids on the Southeast campus when he was a young man. And he came back to tell her and to appreciate TCC. And the interesting thing is that he's from Dallas. He grew up in Dallas. And I said, were you living in Fort Worth? He said, no, we were living in Dallas. So I'm assuming that his mother got up every day and brought him to Arlington so that he could participate in College for Kids, which is a wonderful testimony of what we do with even our pre-college students and how we serve them and the impact that we're able to have on them. So I just wanted to really appreciate College for Kids programs and the impact that it makes on the lives of families.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that story. We appreciate that. And that's a really good program. And I think there's still programs start in June and July. Is that correct, Dr.
Right,
LeBlanc?
and the College for Kids on the Southeast campus ended today,
Okay.
which is why Bill has a big smile.
Congratulations. That's fantastic. Yes, well done. Thank you for sharing. Mr. Greenhill, would you like to share some activities?
So I'm going to share some activities. Well, for one thing, I noticed in one newspaper report about the 30th celebration of the Rainwater High School Scholars. Congratulations from the Rainwater Charitable Foundation. Each of the 30 selected Rainwater Scholars who are in the class of 2022 seniors from Fort Brooke Public Schools demonstrate commitment to leadership and serving others, high motivation, and commitment to learning. And we have 4 Jennifer Esparza from Marine Creek Collegiate, Nayel Loredo from Marine Creek, Jessamine Sadillan from Marine Creek, and Gazelle Villa from the Southwest Campus, South Fort Worth Campus Collegiate, University of Texas at Arlington. And so I wanted to highlight, oh, there it is, right up there. Congratulations to our honorees for the rainwater scholarships. I also noticed a article in the Downtown Fort Worth Inc. About TCC nursing graduates. We're filling a very large gap in the nursing field. In May, we handed out 135 nursing graduates, the largest nursing graduate class that we've had so far. I know we have something on our agenda relating to nursing, and it's got a lot more of the statistics than this does. Many of the graduates will go to four-year universities to get a Bachelor of Science degree, but they will be working in the field before they do that, and congratulations to our nursing graduates. This is kind of embarrassing. I got by surprise, I was surprised several times at the Tarrant County College, at the CCATT Leadership Award, at the conference, I got what was called a Leadership Award by surprise. I had no idea what was going on. Carol Scott, our chair of the CATT, she's now a past chair, made the announcement somewhat a mystery. I was not paying much attention until she said something to the effect, and he wrote the bylaws, and so everybody knew at that time who was the honoree, and that's the thing that I got. I mean, the award that I got, and I'm very, very grateful for that award. And I wanted to tell you just a couple of things about CATT. I'm very proud to have been a member of the board. This was my last hurrah. I've been on the board since 2011, I was told, and I'm the outgoing past chair. CAT was formally established in 2008. The founders were Roberto Zarate. Many of you know him. They've been to these conferences before. He was what's called the president of ACCT a few years ago, and he's still a member of the board of trustees of San Antonio College. Another founder was Alan Kaplan, who was on the board of trustees of Austin Community College from 1995 to 2016. And then there was Kitty Boyle, a very strong-armed leader from Irving that was on the Dallas Community College Board of Trustees. Now, not many people know this, but CATT is an acronym for Kitty Boyle. See, Kitty, Cat. That's the reason why these founders called it CATT. Louise Appleman, our former chair, took me to the first meeting of CAT right after I was elected to the board in 2011. I mentioned when I was talking to the delegates that there were only a handful of trustees and regents in the room. Only a few, I'd say 10 or 11, including Louise Appleman and myself. And the discussion was, how do we make CATT relevant organization for community college trustees and regents? And since 2011, with a lot of work by a lot of people, CATT has grown in relevance and influence in the state. It's amazing. This is an amazing organization with amazing and diverse trustees and regents from all around the state. And I would encourage you to, all of us, to look up at their website, and they have webinars trying to give us information about how to be better trustees and regents. Some of the colleges call their boards of regents. And as stated in the strategic plan, the purpose of CATT is to be the collective voice representing the community college trustees and regents in Texas. The next big task for trustees and regents, and this is very important, is politics. The next important project that we have is to advocate for community colleges, for funds, to help us with our what we need to be doing with our students. The CATT and the TACC and the Texas Association of Community College Teachers are working on priorities as we speak. And I think each one of us should be thinking about who we know to whom we can advocate. I know that Trustee Barr and Trustee Ayala and I think and Elva LeBlanc are going to be meeting with or proposing to meet with some folks at Dallas Community College to see what we can do as a combined group to advocate. I know that in the past we have alone had a meeting with all of our legislators during the legislative session or before it to advocate. So each one of you be thinking about who you would like to contact or work with somebody to contact for advocate. At the meeting, each one of us at the meeting we wrote down who we had contacts with. And if you do the same, you'll be on the legislative committee and we'll get to advocate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Greenhill, and thank you for all your years of service. That everyone was just so gracious and talked about how much you contributed to the organization and its success. So I know it's taken a lot of extra time, and we appreciate that.
One of the pictures
you've been a good voice for the
did
college.
Did you show the picture of our Chancellor listening to the? Anyway, you were
working diligently.
Working diligently. Anyway,
thank you again.
Thank
Appreciate
you for
it. Yes. Dr. Morrison?
Good evening. Thank you. Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you. My voice is a little husky today. I'm not quite sure where. I think I've never been allergic to anything, but I think the West Texas dust has gotten to me. This has been an amazing month of celebrations of various kinds, and particularly the last week. I have had the opportunity to enjoy the work of students, faculty, staff, and the community coming together. I did want to mention, and I apologize that I don't have more details about safe schools. We all have a concern about that. We all have lots of questions about that, and we all want the right answers. And so I appreciate the work that our staff is doing on behalf of our community to ensure that we do have safe schools in every aspect. So thank you for that. Chancellor and staff, I see both the chief and the deputy chief in the back, and I know you all do great work, you and your entire staff, and I appreciate it very much. And I would say don't hesitate if there's anything else that you think you need to ask for it. Don't hesitate. It's been a while since I've been a teacher in a classroom, and I couldn't answer the question that was asked recently, do classroom doors lock from the inside? And that's a very basic question, but I'm sure that there are schools across the state where that's not the case. But thank you for the work, and please continue vigorously to pursue that. I did also want to share that last Thursday morning, I was gifted the opportunity to be at South Campus in a celebration of Juneteenth. The grandmother of Juneteenth was there. She read her book. Also, TCC student Madison Corzine, who was recently named Miss Juneteenth DFW 2022, is a current student at TCC. She'll graduate in May with her associate's degree, and she'll graduate at the end of May with her high school diploma. And she's an alum of College for Kids. She wanted me to tell you that. So you can't go too far without coming across people who have a legacy with TCC, and we're very proud of that. This was a group of young people. They are an existent dance troupe, but for this occasion, they were called the Juneteenth Jubilee Dancers. And so it was a morning of inspiration. Look at those little College for Kids students. That's what it's all about. We had a great number of College for Kids students there, also early college, high school students, and community people, faculty, and staff. So it was a great event. I don't know what I was talking about. I was pointing to somebody. But it was wonderful. And, of course, Ms. Lee was her normal, enthusiastic self, and she read her book. And she don't give her a mic, because she loves microphones. And she can talk a mile. But it was a wonderful celebration. Dr. Aaron and her staff, Dr. Lufkin was a wonderful host. And the food was delicious. And you can see that's Commissioner Brooks with Deborah Ferguson from Channel 5. She did a great job. All of these great people were part of that celebration. It was a great event. As Ms. Lee said, we're going to celebrate from the 19th of June to the 4th of July. And that same evening, we moved to a celebration that was called TCC Legends Gala. That was a cooperative effort with the TCC Foundation. The honorary chair was our beloved Dr. Judith Carrier, who was the honorary chair of that committee and who, of course, is former president of TCC Southeast Campus. It honored TCC Legends. There's Dr. Carrier. That's Dr. Tina Jenkins, who was a committee chair. She's an associate professor of psychology from TCC South. That's me with Vince Sims from Channel 5. Dr. Gladys Emerson, who's a retiree and a former vice president from South Campus, was a part of that planning committee. Couldn't have put it on without Gloria Fisher. That's our famous former board member, Dr. Michael Evans, who came to help celebrate Dr. Carrie Thompson, who was one of the TCC Legends that was honored. And to my right there is Mayor of Forest Hill, Clara Faulkner. She's three-time mayor, and she'll be retiring next week, but she says TCC South is her campus, so she came to celebrate with us. That's all of the honorees. Dr. Blankenbaker was there, and you see Dr. Madison was there. That's Lily Biggins, who is a TCC alum, myself, Chef Kareem, who is a TCC alum, Dr. Jenkins, Dr. Carrie Thompson from TCC Southeast, Dr. Carrier, and Dr. Sean Madison from TCC Trinity River Campus. Also, the other person is Nicole Collier. She's also a TCC alum, state representative, Nicole Collier. So it was a wonderful evening. We had students from several campuses who were there. They volunteered as hosts. They'll be very good when you work with the legislature because they came and introduced themselves to all of the honorees and made it known what they did on the campuses. And I met the Southeast Campus SGA president along with the other students. So it was a wonderful evening. Raised some money for the foundation. And we're so excited And we know that that will help some students to go forward with their learning. Now, Sunday afternoon, there was another event. It was a Broadway-style musical that had some TCC alums in it. It was also at the ISIS Theater. Gina Monday is an outstanding vocal performer, and she's an alum of TCC South Campus. Also, Dr. Brenda Jackson was in production. I know I'm forgetting someone else, but it was a breakout performance. It was a great event, and can't go far without finding someone whose life got better when they came to TCC. So thanks for all of the support. Now, there were events on every campus, you know, and there would have been a time when I would have made many more, but, you know, times change, and I just had to take advantage of the opportunity to follow them online in the social media pages and to appreciate the work. Northwest Campus, Northeast Campus, Southeast Campus, and TCC Connect. So thanks to all of the great student development officers and the vice presidents of student development who did great work to honor the second year of this new national Juneteenth Independence Day, and to help the community to understand the meaning of it. And as Ms. Opal said, none of us are free until we're all free. So let's make ourselves a committee of one to make life better for everyone. And that is certainly what TCC does every day. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Morrison. That was wonderful. Lots of great celebrations. Thank you. Mr. Kine?
Well, first of all, Dr. Morrison, you win the award for the best pictures. Those were amazing. Those were great. Well, since we've last seen each other, May and June have also been great opportunities to celebrate and learn more about our veterans, starting with Memorial Day, which was May 30th. I had the opportunity to attend a ceremony at the Texas State Cemetery, and if you've never been there before, that's just an amazing, reverent place. But it was really special because it was really focused on bringing high school students from the Austin up through North Texas areas to learn more about veterans who have served the state of Texas, but really about the legacy of their lives after their service. So that was really beautiful, and a really kind of fun personal point of intersection was while we were there, I brought my children with me, and just adjacent to where you see that picture with the flag standing up, we were able to visit the grave of an ancestor of ours who was a veteran of 1812, who later came to Texas and was a biologist and spent the rest of his life in education. So that was the first time we'd ever been able to visit that particular place before. But that was a really neat opportunity to intersect the future of our country with those who had served before them. Next, June 12th is actually Texas Women Veterans Day as declared by the state of Texas. So on June 11th, I was able to serve as a guest speaker at the grand opening of the Texas Women Veterans exhibit at the Texas Veterans Hall of Fame Museum in Denton. The holiday itself was actually first signed into law on June 12th, 1948. And Texas has more than 180,000 female veterans, many of whom attend or have attended TCC. I was joined by speakers Dr. Lena Jackson Lynch. She's off there on the right, just an amazing speaker with a really impressive history in the U.S. Air Force. Denton Mayor Jaron Hudspeth and Flower Mound Mayor Derek France, as well as Representative Lynn Stuckey, who represents the Denton area. The ceremony was hosted by the Denton County Women Veterans of America and the Texas Veterans Hall of Fame Museum, and they said many times that they were very grateful to have representation from that county down south. So it was nice to be a part of the celebration up north in Denton County. And then finally, this is something that is very near and dear to Tarrant County College. June 23rd, today, 2022, is National Pell Grant Day. And this day commemorates 50 years since the signing of the Education Amendments Act of 1972, which created what we now know as the Pell Grant Program. It was the Basic Educational Opportunity Grant Program. The Pell Grant Program has been the cornerstone of our nation's efforts to create a financial pathway for tens of millions of low and middle income students to attend college. And since the program's creation, Pell Grants have helped more than 80 million students attend college, if you can believe that. Today, Pell Grants form the foundation of many students' financial assistance packages, especially for students of color. And as the largest single source of grants for post-secondary education, Pell Grants were awarded to more than 1/3 of undergraduate students last academic year. Something that we certainly had the chance to advocate for when we were in Washington, D.C. was not only the expansion of the federal Pell Grant program, but also specific to community colleges, reducing the ceiling of contact hours that are required for use of a federal Pell Grant. So that's something that everybody that we spoke to in terms of an elected official who represented Tarrant County College was very much in support of. So thank you for the foundation of the Pell Grant program.
For sharing that information. That's a lot of, 80 million? That's fantastic. That's wonderful. Thank you. Mr. Barr.
Well, thank you. I was going to report on the CCATT meeting in Houston that Mr. Hornsby, Mr. Greenhill, and Ms. Ayala and I participated in last week. I think Bill's told us a whole lot about it. I will tell you that it was nice to see him recognized for his contribution to the organization. I think the most significant thing I took away from that meeting was the fact that there is a growing recognition in Texas of the importance of community colleges. And I think that's illustrated by the state commission that is currently at work and will report this fall on community colleges and funding. And I think it sets the stage for the community colleges to have an impact in the upcoming legislative session. I think the CAT organization will play a significant role in that, and I think there's going to be a need for people from this district as well as board members from this district to be involved in that process. Another observation, in talking to other board members, Tarrant County College stacks up very well against what other community colleges are doing across the state. And I think we can take a lot of satisfaction in that. One of the sessions that Mr. Greenhill and Ms. Ayala and I attended was related to foundations, community college foundations, and what is being done in different parts of the state. And I think we picked up some good ideas. And I've always said about going to meetings like this, it takes time, there's a cost associated with it, but all you're really looking for is one or two good ideas that you can take home. And I think we, right there in that one session, may have come up with some ideas that can be very valuable to the foundation here at TCC. So it was a good trip, time well spent, and I think we're on the, I think community colleges are on I don't know about that picture there, but I think we're on a good path.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Just put up what we get sent.
I'm not a very good photographer. I'm sorry. I didn't get, you guys were. That's because I was taking notes. There was so copious notes. There was so much to take in from this conference. There really was. There I am.
It's a good conference.
It was a very good conference, and I know Mr. Greenhill and Mr. Hornsby and Mr. Barr have all shared just a couple of things that I took away that I thought, the theme, of course, was everyone was focused on student success and what we need to do to work together towards student success. And so I think there was a lot of emphasis placed, which I know we do very well, is on collaborations. Partnerships are very, very key to that. We also spoke a lot about advocacy, and we're going to be partnering as community colleges to try to really move the needle and be more impactful, particularly in Austin. And one of the things that we did that I don't think we'd done before, and this may have been a suggestion from Mr. Greenhill, is that we actually had a chairs meeting, and that was very, very good dialogue, because we talked about you have colleges there of different complexity levels, of different programs that they have. The sizes are all different, but we all had something to share with one another, and I think we're going to work more closely together in having those meetings on a regular basis so that we can share ideas and talk about what's being effective and how we can help one another. I've always said I love sports, and talked about how we as a team, we have our roles and responsibilities, but we are just so much stronger together and when we lift each other. So I think it was a really good conference. And again, I want to compliment Mr. Greenhill for his participation and his leadership in representing TCC for so many years on that. Thank you again. Let's see, the other thing I'd like to mention is the Encore graduates. I want to congratulate the first cohort of interns that completed the program in TCC's partnership with Encore. They just graduated in May, and this is part of Encore's secondary education outreach program. The cohort participants were selected from students from the Fort Worth ISD Collegiate High School as well as Wilmer Hutchins High School, and both of which partner with Encore to learn about electrical safety and careers in the utility industry. I think this speaks a lot about the partnerships that we have, the strength of the partnerships that we have to really help our students succeed. I know that the cohort began in August of 2021, and with 14 students, and 8 students completed the rigorous program, and it is very rigorous. And so I want to, again, congratulate them and all of the folks that are involved in their training. I know that recruiting has already begun for the next semester internship, and there's been an increased interest, of course, in the program. I know that Dr. LeBlanc recently was talking about some of the programs that we have at TCC, and mentioned about the salaries and the opportunities that these students will have once they leave. So we want to congratulate them and look forward to that continued partnership with Encore. And lastly, I just wanted to share a photograph that I took, and sorry it's a little blurry, but I happened to be walking by the bookstore, and I just saw all these people in there, and I thought, what are they doing and what's going on? I thought there was a sale, and women, especially me, I thought there's a sale, I'm going in. But I noticed that there were student nurses that were getting their gear and their uniforms, and they were so excited. And this was just after graduation, so I'm assuming that these are the summer cohort, Dr. Madison. And so they were all very excited to be starting their program, and it was just, I just couldn't contain myself. It was just to see the excitement in their eyes, and they looked so young. I mean, looked very, but I will say this, that they're just eager to get started and eager, knowing what they're going to have to be dealing with, especially with everything that's going on in healthcare. But I think that there just goes to show the students are just committed to succeeding, and I'm just so glad that TCC is a part of that. So I want to congratulate everyone that's involved in the nursing program. So thank you for that. And I think that's all we have to report. Is that right? Okay. Thank you all. So we'll go ahead and continue on with the meeting, and we have item number 4 is a briefing about faculty tenure. And Dr. LeBlanc, you want to introduce that for us, please?
Thank you, Trustee Ayala. So yes, there have been a lot of questions about faculty tenure. And so we invited an HR consultant, Jeff Ling, to compare Tarrant County College with the top 10 colleges in Texas and other colleges to see big picture, what are others like Tarrant County College doing in regard to tenure. This is not an action item, it's simply for your information. These HR directors or consultants rather are able to garner information from their colleagues that sometimes we have difficulty doing, so it was good information. And so is Jeff on the line? Is he ready? Okay. All right, thank you.
My name is Jeff Lane, and I'm president of Evergreen Solutions. And as mentioned, I have a brief overview for you this evening of the research that we've been working on in partnership with the leadership at TCC. I will share the PowerPoint with you and briefly cover several topics this evening. I want to talk a little bit about the scope of work that we were engaged to complete. Begin with some national trends, share with what are we seeing nationwide in the two-year college space, talk about your specific policies that you have in place currently, spend some time on those top 10 that Dr. LeBlanc mentioned that we reached out to collect information from, discuss some of the high-level findings that came back from their interaction with us during the data collection period, and then leave you with some considerations or topics for discussion at future meetings. So again, we were asked to look at the tenure policies among the identified group, identify some major items that we felt like would be informational as well as beneficial for you to consider in the future, and then to summarize those in the form of considerations or points out of those findings. The national trends, basically we compared the 1990s to the current time period or pre-COVID time period, and the percent of two-year institutions over that time period from the 1990s to pre-COVID have seen a slow decrease in the number of institutions actually offering a tenure program for faculty or a tenure policy for faculty. And so in 93-94, in that school year, there were about 62% of public two-year institutions that possessed a tenure track program for their faculty. By 2018 to 2019 school year, it had dropped to 58%. So about a 7%, almost 8% decrease. Among the nonprofit and the for-profit, a larger or more sizable decrease, but they began with a smaller number of institutions in 1993-94 that were utilizing tenure. Probably what's even more relevant is not just the decrease in the number of institutions that offer a tenure track, but more importantly, the number of faculty that actually are on a tenure track contract among or have received tenure among the institutions that are included in the sample. And again, this is a national sample, something I'm sharing with you before I share the top 10 within the state of Texas. But among that national sample, less than 20% of the community college faculty are actually in a tenure track position. And so among those institutions that have maintained a tenure policy over that time period, the 93 to 2018 time period, many of them have managed or controlled the lines that are tenure track versus those that are not. And as a result, we've seen a sizable increase in part-time positions in the two-year space during that time period. So 65% of community college faculty nationwide are in part-time positions today in comparison to a smaller percentage in that 93 to 94 time period. What do you do currently, or how does TCC operate currently? You currently receive tenure or can receive tenure if you're full-time. You must hold the rank of assistant professor or above. You should have 4 years of service that has consistently favorable performance reviews based on your current policy. And the final decision, as you know, is made by the board once you go through that process and that packet is submitted. The survey peers, as Dr. LeBlanc mentioned, includes the top 10 within the state. TCC would be number 11 in this group. And we reached out to each of these institutions. We asked them for a copy of the policy. We also asked them some questions about their history with tenure. If they had sunsetted tenure, and many have, at what point did they go through that process and how did they handle that transition? We also followed up, given the national research that we were familiar with, on what they replaced tenure with. And so we asked a series of questions about when they did sunset tenure, what did they offer faculty? as some sense of security or stability in that transitional period. And many of the institutions, not only nationally, but within Texas, put into place a multi-year contract system, or a system in which I would be on contract, but for more than 1 year. And I'll share those results with you in a moment. 3 of the institutions did not in time provide the information related to their multi-year contracts, so they possess an asterisk by them in the current slide. So with faculty tenure, El Paso Community College was the only respondent that indicated that they offer tenure currently. Many indicated they did offer tenure in the past. All other respondents indicated they do not have tenure currently. So if I'm hired as a faculty member today, I would not be able to be placed into a tenure track position. Several of the respondents indicated that they still have the policy, and the policy, once sunsetted, could be reactivated again, but that is not a choice that they have made, although they leave that option available to them in the future. Peers were asked, in essence, how recently they changed or sunsetted tenure. Most indicated that it had been a decade or more since they had gone through that process, and all respondents indicated when discussions had come up in the past since they sunsetted, they had opted not to bring tenure back, even among those that had a policy that would allow that to take place. To dig a little bit deeper into El Paso, as a comparable, I would need to demonstrate as a faculty member 5 years of consecutive teaching with exemplary job performance, and then I need a 2/3 vote of their tenure committee. The committee is appointed by the president of the college. The committee consists of an administrative liaison, 7 tenured instructors, 1 tenured librarian, and 1 tenured counselor that would be selected to participate in that tenure committee during that tenure committee review period. Each member decides if the candidate falls into one of 3 categories: recommended for tenure, not recommended for tenure, or an extension of an additional year to demonstrate the necessary characteristics for tenure. And then the president and the board of trustees give the final approval based on the recommendations that come from the tenure committee. This is a deeper dive into the faculty contract length. Again, as I mentioned, not only within Texas, but nationally, the trend has been to move from tenure to multi-year contracts. One example that I do want to highlight is Dallas College. Actually, at the end of last year, beginning of this year, began a process with its board of transitioning from multi-year to single-year contracts, and they're still involved in that transition that they're working through with some of the documentation. As you can see, single-year contracts are present at HCC or at Houston Community College, as well as South Texas College. Single and multi-year contracts are available at the remaining respondents, with the exception being El Paso Community College offering tenure. The experience required before receiving a multi-year contract, so similar to a tenure-based approach where I have to demonstrate that excellence in the classroom for a certain period of time before I'm rewarded in essence with that multi-year contract. Each of the respondents indicated 3 years is the time period that I would have to demonstrate excellence in the classroom. And then the length of the multi-year contract is 2 years at Lonestar and 3 years at the other respondents in that multi-year contract that they have present, with the indication that Dallas took this issue up in the fall, took a vote in February, and are in the process of developing some materials for faculty evaluation that will be used as they move to 1-year contracts in the future. So in closing, some of the considerations, some of the things that we felt like were pertinent to keep in mind from the research process. TCC does offer tenure, while the majority of your respondent peers do not within the state of Texas. Overall, again, we saw that transition occurring more slowly among your national peers, but an ongoing process that is occurring among national peers as well. Among your Metroplex competitors, they do not offer tenure, and Dallas taking the lead in essence, and even transitioning as you look at that process from tenure to multi-year contract to single-year contract. We see that they're already making that transition to the single-year contract. Extended contracts do still offer an alternative to tenure. Some are phasing it out. Again, it's seen as a progression or middle position between tenure and single-year contracts. And from the research that we're seeing from a variety of sources, not just on the administrative side, but also among different faculty groups, the prediction is that tenure will be less utilized in the future, or will be used only very selectively in the future if at all. And so that's the direction that at least the current research is pointing toward. Dr. LeBlanc, I am happy to answer any questions that the board might have or you might have.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Ling? Clarifications? Mr. Ling, this is Teresa. Thank you for your presentation. We appreciate it. I just had a really quick question, and I know you talked about Dallas Community College. They went from tenure to multi-year, then to single year. Did these folks spend a lot of time articulating why they decided to transition from what they're present to what they're heading, to the direction that they're heading?
Several of the institutions we did ask that question, and they had the time to share some of that input with us. And what several institutions, including Dallas, had the opportunity to spend a little bit of time describing not only some of the challenges with that transition, but the motivations. And each of those indicated the motivations were to improve the quality of the student experience, to improve the quality of the faculty on staff, to offer opportunities for other types of recognition for faculty, was something that was mentioned by these groups. Besides tenure, having other mechanisms of recognizing performance or contribution or excellence within the organization. They all indicated that this was something that mixed feelings were present when it was rolled out initially. Not everyone embraced the idea of transitioning from tenure over to multi-year contracts, which was the natural step each of your peers took in transitioning from tenure. But in time, many of the faculty became more comfortable with that approach, especially given the number of years that those contracts are available after that, in essence, initial period, when it's offered to faculty members. The other thing that was indicated by one of the respondents is that the issues that would result in me not being retained on a multi-year contract actually parallel what would have been included in the tenure package or the tenure policy. And so it didn't dramatically change those things that the institution would part company with the faculty member over. It just changed the nature of the arrangement. And so that was something that one of the peers pointed out, that in essence, it didn't change the activities or behaviors that might have resulted in my employment not continuing. Those remain the same. It's just one had been present within the tenure contract before, and now it's present within a multi-year contract.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Did you have a question?
I would, I'm not real familiar with this, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not sure exactly what drives this issue to come to the board at this moment. I think I'd love to know more about the pros and cons of both sides of the discussion. I'm sure that there are pretty strong feelings amongst faculty members about it. So do you anticipate us having further discussions on this in the near term? Or?
So basically, the information came about as a result of the tenure policy. We have a tenure policy that was passed in 2021, which we're comfortable with. We had offered an update to that policy to increase the framework for appeals and a process for how the faculty could appeal a decision made on the campus. So typically,
relative to being awarded tenure.
Correct. Typically, it's up to the faculty member to say, I'm interested in tenure, and to prepare all the material that goes into consideration. We actually have faculty that don't want to go through that process and never apply for tenure. Once they apply for tenure, it goes to the dean, and it's a conversation between the faculty member and the dean. And the dean can either move it forward or deny it. And that takes place all the way from the dean to the VPAA to the president. And there's discussion at every point. So we've had a few instances where faculty did not receive tenure. They have an opportunity to apply yet again. You know, if you don't get tenure the first time, it doesn't mean you'll never get tenure. And it was those types of conversations that led to the request, actually, for more information on faculty tenure. And from our lens, the best source is an independent person like Jeff Ling, who manages human resources and has conversations with all the different colleges as to should we have tenure or not. In terms of Tarrant County College, we have policies that really support employees in general. And so the point of tenure is that if you say something controversial, they can't fire you for making that controversial statement or being an outlier, if you will. And it's more of a university model. And at Tarrant County College, we have really strong policies that support our employees, all of our employees. And so for an employee to get dismissed takes a lot of steps, and a lot of effort goes into assisting the employee so the employee will be successful, setting expectations and so on. So this was simply an information piece for the board.
I would suggest, I appreciate the information, and having a comparison with peer organizations is useful. Coming from the private sector, having good employees and keeping those employees is fundamental to the success of virtually any company. I think that applies here at TCC, and I think it's important that we be extremely fair to our employees, to be a good employer. And I don't fully understand how important tenure is to a faculty member. Does that make sense? And how important it is in the greater scheme of being a long-time contributing faculty member here at the college. And I hear what you're saying about the way we support employees, the way we interact with them. I think I feel like we need more information. Part of what I'm driving at.
Yeah, I think the information that you gave, Dr. Ling, is helpful for us to just know what other our counterparts throughout the state are doing. I think if we could get a summary or even a graph that, that as you've identified here, and we can get that information to Dr. LeBlanc, maybe we could have a little bit more information. Some of the things that I'd like to know is, what has been the engagement with the faculty themselves in these decision making, and I think that's very important for us so that we can see where, what are some best practices, what's worked, what hasn't, and we could certainly, I think, share those with Dr. LeBlanc and maybe get those to you. If that's okay with you, Dr. LeBlanc, we'll just send them through you.
I mean, this was just basically an information piece based on the request for additional information before making any decisions regarding any adjustments to the policy dealing with tenure. We've not asked that we remove tenure. It's simply for information, that's all.
We can get a framework.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
Yes, thank you,
Yes.
Dr. LeBlanc. Thank you for the information. I think one of the things some points that we have had concern about is initial placement and a breakdown of the statistics in equal placement, because I have heard information that those are not equitably done according to across the age and racial groups. The other thing is the question more fundamental to our existence is how can we sustain quality teaching with a 65% part-time faculty? And if what happens to persons who are doing okay and relate to students but don't choose to do tenure, and so therefore they may be basically outed from the college. And so those are considerations that we have to take into account. And so certainly it's something we need to look at. It's always good to know what others are doing, but at the end of the day, we have to chart our own course within the law for our future. And we can always benefit from more information, and it's a good start. But I think we do need more consideration, more discussion, and to really look at a breakdown of what's really happening. And we committed to shine some light on that process, like who can put a full halt to a person's request for tenure, and how do we give a person more opportunity for success in that process, as well as how can we help faculty get a better understanding of how to successfully navigate that process. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson.
Thank you for that. I will mention, we'll bring the statistics. However, our percentage is only about 33% of our faculty are adjunct, and the rest are full-time right now. So we're different, again, from other community colleges, and we'll bring those stats to you. And you are right, we're working very diligently in creating a process where there's greater transparency, and at each level, whether it's denied or approved, an explanation as to why, so that we can go back and review and carefully look at all of the data, the documentation, and so on. And that is something that's going in place now that did not exist before, both in terms of the initial placement with the faculty credentials, the advancement on the promotion, and in tenure. So those are three different pieces. So thank you for those comments.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Ling. Very nice.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
time. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, thank you for that discussion. We'll move on to item 5, where we'll look at the consideration and approval of individual action items. Just for those of you that are not familiar with our process, this information has been provided to the trustees in advance, so they've had an opportunity to review some of these materials already and pose some questions as appropriate. And of course, we're going to have an open discussion here if necessary, and we'll decide on how we're going to proceed with them. So we'll start with you, Mr. Pacheco, on 5A, consideration and approval of contract renewal for the purchase of 134 security cameras to provide 24/7 by 365 monitoring of network wiring closets and 5-year maintenance agreement from GTS in the amount of $149,913.84. If you don't mind identifying yourself, please, for those that are watching. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Bob Pacheco. I am the Chief Technology Officer here at Tarrant County Community College District. So the board item we're asking for here is mandated by TAC 202, the Texas Administrative Code, where it requires us to actively monitor and report access to secured areas containing IT infrastructure. In this instance, we're talking about wiring closets that contain devices that connect the computers to our data center, and they support the students, faculty, and staff. The areas currently are not monitored, and we are requesting security cameras to cover those areas. The camera technology provides real-time access as well as data retention and alerting capabilities. Open to any questions.
Yes. Any questions or comments on this? The way that these are going to be installed, the way I read it, I mean, this is almost wireless or a PoE type, is that
PoE,
correct?
these are power over Ethernet.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, we'll entertain a motion. So moved from Mr. Greenhill.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hornsby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Pacheco. Well, you just stay up there, I guess. Okay.
I'm actually doing this more than
Okay.
Salonese is.
5B, consideration and approval of contract with Edmentum Holdings for the annual renewal in the amount of $99,990.
Technically, this item is below the $100,000 threshold. But in April, Edmentum reached out to us and asked us if we would consider early licensing fees for a discounted rate. And so for full transparency, we wanted to go ahead and talk about this here. Edmentum Holdings, aka Plato, is used by our community education and engagement as well as our workforce services since 2000, and in a variety of other programs. The courseware provides assessments as well as learning plans and instructions for our students and gives us capabilities to our instructors to set up educational plans. This also includes software that tracks the reporting requirements that we have to use. I'm open to any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for Mr. Pacheco?
Just make sure that on the front page they change the address. Still has Houston Street on it.
Thank you for that. We'll entertain a motion if there are no further questions.
So moved.
So moved from Ms. Dekine.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hornsby. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. 5C, consideration and approval of a 3-year renewal of the Ellucian maintenance in the amount of $2,578,596, which is $859,532 annually.
Yes, this is for our current ERP platform, and it contains an annual maintenance fee for the software license and as well as the technical support of colleague. It includes regulatory changes, patches, bug fixes, and technical support for the IT staff when it's needed 24/7. This is a 3-year renewal, and we're recommending a 3-year renewal to go along with our ERP implementation that we have here. If necessary, we will go year to year after that. It's recommended that we move forward with this one as we need to run both systems in parallel during this implementation process.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, did you have one, Mr. Hornsby?
I do have a question.
Yes.
It mentions TouchNet in the speaking part, and I believe that's what the payment system?
Right.
TouchNet. So would that be under the finance section here, because TouchNet is not spelled out anywhere? I'm sorry about that. TouchNet is not really spelled out in any way, so I'm assuming it's just under the finance section?
Well, we license TouchNet separately from Ellucian. That's probably just talking about the integrations with that. This is just for the maintenance itself, not for the licensing.
Oh, okay. That's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Very good question. Do you have a question, Mr.
I
Barr?
had one quick question. There's a reference in a couple of these action items to One IT. What?
One IT is how we brand ourselves across the college.
Okay.
It's one community, one college, one IT.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions, clarifications? Otherwise, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, that was Mr. Greenhill. Need a second?
Second.
From Ms. Dekine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Move on to 5D for consideration and approval of the renewal of Rosetta Stone for online language application in the amount of $105,215. Mr. Pacheco.
So Rosetta Stone is our foreign language software that we use across the district. Currently, it provides us 25 languages. It's an integral part of the existing world language as well as our ESL/ESOL programs, and is provided for our faculty and staff as in professional development. Utilizing our data from fiscal year 22, we use that to measure the growth of and use of Rosetta Stone. Negotiating with this data with Rosetta Stone allowed TCC to maintain the same licenses and capabilities and utilized over the past 4 years, but in the process, we were able to save $124,000 this year. So, ready to entertain any questions?
Any questions?
A simple question. Does the license have a limit to the number of users that are there? Or
It's
do
an
you have
enterprise
to
license for the
guarantee-
school.
It's just for the school?
Just for the school.
So no matter how many users?
That's right.
The school is, okay, thank you.
Great question. Any other questions? We'll entertain a motion.
I move approval.
Okay, it's Mr. Barr, move to approve. Anyone else? Second?
Second?
Second for Mr. Greenhill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. 5E, consideration and approval of the purchase of a 3-year agreement from General Data Tech, GDT, for Pentera automated penetration testing in the amount of $285,000, which is $95,000 annually.
So that pesky TAC 202 requires us to test our perimeter of our networks on a periodic basis. Currently, TCC uses a service to do that with, to comply with the digital penetration testing. Pentera is an automated penetration testing software, and it will save us about $35,000 a year by going to this automated process. The great thing about the software is that it does continuous testing, both outside as well as inside, and it provides additional tools such as test software components that may be infected by malware. It helps us identify what's the cause and be able to get down into the middle of it and fix it, as well as ransomware simulations. And so we can simulate a ransomware attack on us, and we can then respond to that and see how well our defenses work against that. So,
Go ahead.
Is this a package that's continuously updated and improved?
yes.
You know, I worry a lot about our exposure, and I'm sure you do as well.
Keeps me up at night sometimes.
When you hear incredible horror stories about what happens to businesses and institutions, the only thing that makes me nervous about bringing this in effect in-house is it's such a dynamic, moving, changing field. I don't think you'd be recommending it if you didn't have confidence in it. Don't get me wrong. It's just that in some previous experience, there's some people that are really good at this, essentially at protecting things.
Right. This software, since it does continuously test and it is continuously updated, gives us actually better capabilities versus having a test done 2-3 times a year by an outside agency. Because we actually are now under continuous protection, or at least penetration, looking to see where all the holes are. And I mean, I feel confident, and this came from my InfoSec, my Chief Information Security Officer, and his recommendation, and he would not recommend this if this was something, because it's, we would both be walking out the
You
door.
think
something
this is the best protection we can identify? I like saving $35,000. Don't get me wrong. That's peanuts when you consider what some sort of an intrusion can be.
Well, information security is defense in layers, and so we actually have multiple things that we have. This is just one of the other tools that's actually mandated by the TAC 202. And so we have we can probably actually do a informational item one time to talk about that behind closed doors.
I guess I would just say we ought to be doing everything we can possibly do to keep this from happening to our systems.
I agree with you.
I'll move approval.
Okay, that's Mr. Barr, move for approval. Second by Mr. Kine. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's see, 5F, consideration and approval of the renewal of the VMware Enterprise License Agreement, ELA, from VMware for a 4-year term in the total amount of $3,999,997.98, which is approximately $1 million annually.
So Over the course of the last 3 years, exacerbated by COVID, we've added more capabilities and licenses to our VMware. If you recall, our VMware is our virtual interface that we allow students, staff, and whoever else needs to get into the infrastructure at TCC. Over the course of the 3 years, the prices has risen to $1.68 million a year, and so because of that, the staff committed to evaluating the overall structure to determine the best cost-effective solution. We took that information and we went and talked to VMware and negotiated with them. During that time, we got up with what you guys are considering right now is a 4-year contract for a total of $4 million. It's about $684,000 a year savings. Over the course of that time, it would be a savings of $2.7 million that we would save.
Any questions or comments? Clarifications? Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay,
Second.
that's Mr. Greenhill, and second by, is that Dr. Morrison? Okay, Dr. Morrison. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Pacheco. Let's see, I think you have another one. Consideration and approval of the amendment to the Lonestar Education and Research Network Learn. Is that, yeah, I think that's yours. Contract for 36 months in the amount of $636,393.24.
I think somebody played a joke on me here.
It's 5G. Consideration and approval of the amendment to the Lone Star Education.
I found it.
Found it? Okay.
My apologies.
That's okay, no worries.
So the current Learn network right now we have is our primary network for the data center at Trinity River. What we're proposing here is what this does is it gives us a direct connection into the Internet 2 network as well as direct connections to Microsoft, Google, and other commodity services that gives us the ability that really matches up with the ERP because the new ERP system is based on the Microsoft technology in the clouds. And so it's a direct connection to that. To help that along and to also give better capabilities to all the other campuses, we're proposing to add the 2 gigabyte connections to each of the other 4 physical campuses. Doing so will give us a higher level of service as well as give us ability, like we were talking about earlier, capabilities to actually withstand distributed denial of service attacks against us, as well as other express route to the Microsoft environments, and then also gives us the ability to burst to 10 gigabytes when traffic needs to get that high because of demand.
Any questions or comments? I just wanted to clarify that I'm familiar with burstables and what that means, but if for whatever reason we sustain at a higher gigabyte for an extended period of time, is there something that allows us to go back and renegotiate that rate as necessary?
If we do,
Okay.
But it's based on the 95 percentile, so they'll cut
Okay.
off the 5, usually the outliers. And so it would take quite a bit of sustained burst
Okay.
over that.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, Mr. Greenhill.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hornsby. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? No? Okay, the motion carries. So 5H is consideration and approval of Elsevier nursing assessment tools for the fall of 2022, spring of 2023, and summer of 2023 nursing cohorts for a total amount not to exceed $340,000. Dr. Madison.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Sean Madison. I'm president of Tarrant County College's Trinity River Campus. Certainly good evening to President Ayala, Board of Trustees, and Acting Chancellor LeBlanc. If I may provide context for 5H and 5I at the same time, I think it might help the flow of those 2 items, if that's okay with you. All right, so this upcoming academic year, the Division of Nursing will accept a total of 320 students in fall 2022 and spring 2023, and up to 50 in summer 2023. For each cohort, the college provides academic support software and courseware, Elsevier, and ATI products. Each cohort will use the product throughout the two-year program, and will have access to the products up to 90 days after graduation. In other words, the product follows the student. They are owners of that product while they are students here, and even 90 days afterwards. In terms of ATI, I'll talk about that one first. The ATI products provide a bridge between classroom learning and real-life clinical experience by supplementing simulation-based clinical education by providing web-based opportunities for TCC nursing students to practice their clinical and decision-making skills through varied real-life situational experiences without compromising the patient's well-being. Both products include video case studies, virtual simulations, and nationally normed NCLEX-style item assessments. These products are also particularly helpful in addressing inconsistencies in learning opportunities at the clinical site. So if they don't observe something at the clinical site, we certainly can simulate it or program it with the products that we use here on in-house. In terms of Elsevier, by comparison, the Elsevier software primarily supplements the in-classroom experience. Think of this software as all of the quizzes that accompany the course instruction. So it includes quizzes and interventions that allow students to remediate as needed. Nursing faculty use reports and data from both ATI and Elsevier to help them make informed decisions about the nursing curriculum or to develop academic interventions to support the success of our nursing students. So that's just a brief overview of how the two products work to support, or how the faculty rather use those two products to support the success of our nursing students.
Thank you, Dr. Madison. Anyone have any specific questions or clarifications for Dr. Madison?
And I'd like to bring your attention to the second page of 5H, which has it's a shout out for our nursing program. It's got a lot of information about the success of our nursing program. Just a comment. I make
Yes.
a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve. So right now, we're voting on 5H
I'm
first.
5H,
So,
yeah.
okay, on 5H, great. So that's Mr. Greenhill made a motion for 5H. Second by Mr. Hornsby. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. And he's already addressed 5I, which is consideration and approval of contract with Assessment Technology Institute for licensure exam support for tools for the fall 22, summer 2023, and spring 2023 nursing cohorts for a total amount not to exceed $340,000. Does anyone have any questions for that? We'll entertain-
Move approval.
Okay, Mr. Barr,
Second.
second by Mr. Kine. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Dr. Madison.
And if I may, President Ayala, I
Yes.
just want to introduce Dr. Susan Priest. She's one of our nursing leaders, our Assistant Dean of Nursing. I failed to mention her. She was here to help me address any questions that I certainly couldn't answer.
Oh.
So I just want to just acknowledge her. Thank you
We're
very much.
glad to have you.
Glad to have
Come on, come up and say hello at least so we can, is it okay with you? Yeah. Come on up and say hello. We'd so glad to have you here.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good
I'm Su-
evening.
Dr. Susan Priest.
Oh, great, Dr. Priest, we're glad to have you.
Come spend a day with us sometime.
We'd love to. We showed the picture of all of the nursing students that were in the bookstore getting ready.
Yes,
So
I love
you've
that.
got, they're just passionate and ready to hit the floor running.
Well, envision an email I got 2 days ago now.
Yes.
We have a prospective student that would like to join us. She already has a master's in education, and she's taught in public schools for years. And she'd like to go through our program so she could advance to become a certified midwife and serve the community that she belongs to, which is the deaf community.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
now we have to start rethinking things about how we will accommodate her.
That's fantastic. Well,
We
thank you
have
so
something
much.
like this every day, I think.
We thank you so much for all the
bet.
work that you do. It's nice to meet you. You're
My
welcome to
pleasure.
come back anytime.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. All right. Ms. Alanis, let's see, we have 5J, consideration and approval of service authorization with Air Balancing Company, Inc. to provide testing and balancing services for the building automation system upgrades at the Southeast Campus Science and Technology Building in the amount of $137,120. Do you mind introducing yourself, please?
I do not
Thank you.
mind. I'm Susan Alanis, the Chief Operating Officer. And this is a project that's been underway for a bit of time to improve the building automation systems at the Science and Technology Building at the Southeast Campus that is not being affected by the other redevelopment. And so this is the testing and balancing services that you've become very familiar with throughout the bond program to provide services to that building.
Any questions or comments on 5J for Ms. Alanis?
No, just change the shipping address.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of those, it takes a while to get them to update their systems, and so we're working on that.
Great. Thank you. Yes. Well, it's good to know that we're reading everything, right?
Yes, that's right. It's a test.
It's
You're
a test
passing.
to see who's reading, exactly. So you get the star, Mr. Hornsby. Any questions or comments?
You make the motion.
You want to make the motion?
Move to approve.
Move to approve for Mr. Hornsby.
Did that include the address change?
Should we amend the?
If they ship it to the wrong places, it's their fault.
Second from Mr. Barr. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 5K, ratification of payment to McGraw-Hill Education for ALEKS software for Math 0090 students for academic year 2021 to 2022 in the amount of $116,400, and authorization of agreement for academic year 2022 to 2023 and 2023 to 2024 in the annual amount of $200,000.
Yes, so this was a bit of a COVID revelation that we had many of over the last couple of years, but McGraw-Hill had been providing free access to software that supports some of the developmental math classes that we have, so long as sufficient volumes of the other material that they offer were being purchased for some of our other math classes. We had never had a problem reaching that threshold prior to COVID. With a decline in enrollment, we actually fell below that, where they were invoicing us for a discounted rate for use of that software. We confirmed the challenge was that was not fully memorialized as an agreement. We have corrected that now for going forward. We confirmed that the services were rendered. They were issued to the students by the faculty teaching those classes. As a sort of middle ground, McGraw is only charging us for 1 year out of the 2 that we didn't meet those thresholds in the past. And now going forward, we have it contractually memorialized to be able to handle that. For the COVID period, because it was related to the decline in enrollment, we're actually able to use her funds to pay that invoice. But this ratifies that payment for the funds that were owed.
Okay, thank you. Any clarifications or questions, comments? Otherwise, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Greenhill? Second by Dr. Morrison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 5L, a consideration approval of Amendment 1 to contract with Allied Universal Security for armed security and dispatchers for TCC campuses and communications center for 2 years, with options to renew up to 3 additional 1 year at an annual cost of $1,556,900.80.
So you may recall that we changed vendors who provide our armed security services earlier this year, and they're currently located at the Opportunity Center as well as the Seattle facility to provide those services to supplement our police department. Like so many other departments around the country, we are having recruitment and retention challenges among our police officers and our dispatchers, and that is not a problem that gets solved quickly by the time you factor in training that needs to happen. So what we are recommending is that we add services available through the security firm. We've been pleased with their services. That will allow us time to address ramping up security. Our focus with our sworn officers will be on periods of time when there are students and staff and faculty on campus, and supplementing primarily when it's property protection with the security contract. I will tell you that this will be funded through savings, salary savings from the existing vacancies. We'll also use it to support our dispatch center as well while we address that. As far as the dispatchers go, this actually is a more expensive solution than employing the dispatchers themselves. We've employed a number of solutions around that. We just recently increased the pay of our dispatchers by 10%, and are working to address some of the scheduling challenges and so on that were a problem in retaining folks there. So hopefully we'll work to resolve that. But this is necessary for us to continue operations.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any questions, comments, clarifications? Otherwise, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Ms. Decline,
Second.
second by Mr., was that Hornsby? Mr. Hornsby. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 5M, consideration and approval of ratification, I guess that's ratification of contract with Dini Spheris to provide strategic development planning for the TCC Foundation in the amount of $250,000 not to exceed.
Thank you, Madam President.
Yes.
Reginald Gates, Vice Chancellor for Communications and External Affairs. We brought this item before you. This was an action taken by the Foundation Board at their June 8th meeting to bring on a vendor to assist with some of the consultation that's needed as the organization transitions. And we thought because the college pays the operational budget for the foundation, that though voted by the foundation, we need to bring it here for ratification. And I yield to Mr. Barr and Ms. Ayala, who were present and can speak to the agreement as well.
Yes, thank you. I think Mr. Barr would like to share since we were both there.
I would just say that there is enormous upside and potential for the Tarrant County College Foundation, and I think that this effort will enable us to begin to develop that into something the foundation has never been able to, the kind of support the foundation has never been able to offer to the college. I think this will be money well spent. I will tell you that the foundation has what I could deem to be very strong leadership today, stronger maybe than ever before, certainly willing to reach out in a new direction. And I'm very pleased with where they're headed. So I think this is money well spent. And I would move approval.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for those comments, Mr. Barr. We have a motion for Mr. Barr. We need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hornsby. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. And we do want to compliment and thank those that are serving on the foundation. They certainly spent a lot of time, as well as the staff, in these interviews and these discussions, so we want to compliment them and thank you for that. Okay, we're moving on to item 6, monthly financial report. Ms. Alanis.
Yes, so the main thing I'll highlight is that we are on track to receive 100% of our tax revenues for the year. In addition, we're close to 100% on tuition since we had planned for a decline this year. We're still about $8 million behind where we were last year in terms of tuition, as you know, as we continue to grapple with enrollment, but we are fine as far as the budget goes. In addition, we continue to have some pretty substantial savings on the expense side of the equation with some of the vacancies that we're carrying and just sort of getting back in the swing of things after COVID. We'll have a much more robust discussion about this on Saturday when we talk about the budget as we prepare for next year.
Any questions? Okay.
All right, and we also have the investment report. We gave you a bit of material, and one of the things that we shared with you a couple of months ago is that we would invite PFM, our investment manager, to join us on a quarterly basis, because that'd be an opportunity for them to share some of the benchmark data about how they're performing compared to their peers in the market that have been established by policy. And so we have Mallory Sampson and I believe Nelson Bush on the line for us that'll walk you through the quarterly report material and answer any questions that you have about our investment portfolio.
That's going to be which on the tabs here? It should
So
be after
under
6.
Yeah, under
It's
section
after
6A, yeah, it's
Yes.
the fourth tab under that.
Okay,
was the investment
just so
update.
everybody's following along.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All step aside.
Yes.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, President Ayala, Acting Chancellor LeBlanc. It's Mallory Sampson. It's good to see everyone. I'm going to actually share my screen. And what I'd like to do today is go over a brief market update and then provide a brief portfolio update and then give you an overview of the relationship with PFM and the district. Can everyone see and hear me okay?
Yes, we see market update.
Thank you. So we'll start with the market. As you look to this, these numbers are at the end of May. The second column into your right is the year-to-date figures for domestic equity, international equity, and fixed income. And as you move your eyes down, you will see across the board negative returns. There's lots of storylines here, but essentially the markets are reacting to inflation pressures. COVID-19 lockdowns in China are perpetuating supply chain struggles. Consumer sentiment is dropping, and rising interest rates are pushing equity and fixed income markets lower. If we look specifically at the fixed income market, take a look at the table on your left. You'll see the Treasury yield curve. The dark blue line is as of the end of March. The light blue line is as of the end of December. You'll see a steep increase. The Federal Reserve has begun aggressively tightening monetary policy, and that has had an impact in the bond market, which I am certain you are all very aware of. What the corresponding change has been, you can see on the right-hand table. This is the U.S. Treasury returns for the beginning 3 months of the year. And as you can see, they're negative across the board. As interest rates are rising, the value of existing bonds drops. And we've seen that. The beginning of this year was the worst year for the bond market in 40 years. We are in interesting times. Looking into the future, the way to read this graph is you can see our expectations for the next 6 to 12 months. The white circle would be our last predictions, and you can see we've downgraded some. There's quite a bit in the negative and the slightly negative territory. We're all aware of the instability in our economy right now. The Fed and the world is trying to get a grasp on inflation without harming our labor market and without pushing us into a recession. We're starting to hear more and more louder voices of a recession, potentially as early as next year. Ultimately, though, we feel that there'll be increased volatility for the rest of the year. And hopefully the Fed is able to navigate getting their arms around inflation without having a hard landing. The way that's impacted your portfolio, you've seen tables like this before. On the far right-hand side, you'll see the market value. And if we go in one, you'll see the change in market value. And at the bottom, you'll see it's a negative number. So as those interest rates rise, the value of the existing bonds goes down. However, the bonds themselves are still doing what they're geared to do. And if you look to the far left, you'll see the yield column. And as you look down that column, you'll see numbers that are higher than what we've seen before. So the bonds are still paying their coupon payments, and we're starting to benefit from some of that increased yield. From a performance standpoint, Ms. Alanis brought that up. You'll see at the bottom and the bottom left, the weighted average yield of the total investment portfolio. That's all the pool products as well, is 0.92%, and that's for your last quarter. So what does that mean? How do we compare that to any type of performance number? Well, if we were to compare it to before PFM stepped in, if the assets stayed in pool products or cash, that number is right below that 1-year T-bill at 0.61%. So there's been a substantial increase from a yield perspective. And then the next question is, how are we doing comparatively? One of the portfolios we manage for you is the core portfolio. We've talked about that before. It's a 1 to 5 year timeline, so farther out on the curve. The benchmark below you'll see is negative 0.70%. So that's a good comparison of what a 1 to 5 year is doing at this moment. So even when we're putting in all of the assets that we're looking at with you, there's still value add. So we're trying to make sure the assets aren't dropping down. From a distribution standpoint, this is as of the end of May. You'll see there's still a significant allocation to the local government investment pools, so the pool products. Part of those assets are allocated to your 2020 bond proceeds, and those are appropriately invested. And then we've just completed a project with staff to review of the remaining the government investment pools, what can be invested out further to further benefit the district? What incremental yield can we achieve for you while still staying in line with PFIA and your investment policy statement? So we're wrapping up that project now. From a general partnership standpoint, when we were initially brought on, we took a look at all of the assets and we created the core and then the liquidity buffer portfolios. That was $250 million that was invested longer term to add that incremental yield for you. Those are fully invested, they're running, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Then we turned our eyes to the 2020 bond proceeds and we created a portfolio for you that matches the construction spending timeline while still attempting to add incremental yield. That's up, that's running, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Then we've just finalized a project where we looked at the remaining cash balances. Next, we'll be helping with the 2022 bond issuance. So once those bonds are issued, making sure that they are also invested appropriately in line with PFIA, in line with the investment policy, in ways that will add that incremental benefit to the district. Those are all my prepared remarks. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or clarifications? Okay. I know it's not a pleasant picture, is it?
Well,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yes,
real
but thank
pretty.
you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
It could be worse. We could have nothing. Next is the monthly bond program update by Ms. Alanis.
Yes.
Yes, and you've got the normal monthly report in your packet, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. I will point out that over the course of the next 2 days, as part of the retreat, you'll receive a briefing on the master plan, which is informing a lot of this as well, so that's pretty exciting.
Right. I know that we have Mr. Kine and Mr. Barr that are, is there anything you wanted to share related to observations or anything on this, on the report? If not, that's okay. I just didn't know if you wanted to share something. So for those of you that are watching, we have some trustees that are our liaisons that are working with our staff, particularly to make sure that we're all in alignment and with some of the needs and some of the things that the trustees have expressed. And so I'm just going to, if you can give us just a brief update as to your observations of that meeting.
Well, so basically that is the high-level observation of our meeting. Mr. Barr and I were able to meet with Ms. Alanis and other members of the staff who are working on the execution and the planning of the bond program on a daily basis. So really the subject matter experts who are there to ask the very detailed question, answer the very detailed questions. Mr. Barr and I asked questions because we like to do that. But really my observation is that every question we asked, there was a sufficient and adequate answer. We are going to have opportunities to ask more detailed questions as a part of the retreat. And I think that one piece of information that we asked for was just acknowledgement that because we have subject matter experts from the college who are working on this every day, and we are not necessarily engaged in this every day, to help provide guideposts to remind us of the information that we last received as we move forward further into this project.
Thank you, Mr. Kine. Go ahead, Mr. Barr.
Well, I would just observe, I appreciate the effort that the staff has done, has put forth to prepare those meetings. We will continue to meet on a monthly basis, and I think we can work to take the questions that come up amongst the board members to those meetings and try to. I think the key thing is the construction program is pretty complicated. There are so many moving parts and things going on, and this meeting afforded us an opportunity to dig deeper into the various moving parts. And I think it's going to be beneficial. Appreciate the opportunity.
I do have one question, not for answer, but more as a request for future information. If at our next monthly update, if we could learn about the market conditions that would either shape a more favorable negotiated bond versus a competitive bond.
We're going to talk about that.
Well, there you go.
That's a great segue. Yes, great.
That's what has been keeping me up lately.
Yes. Thank you both for posing some questions, and I'm hoping that is helpful for you all as well in preparation for these meetings, Susan. So thank you very much for all of your staff and everything you're doing for us. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I've skipped up here.
No, you're doing just fine.
Let's see.
It's the
Oh,
new staff
it's now the new
introduction.
staff introduction, so it's now you.
Yes.
Okay, Dr.
Yes,
LeBlanc.
so I'm very pleased to introduce District Director of Faculty Affairs, Dr. Allison Watley. Dr. Allison Watley has over 20 years of university and community college teaching and administrative experience. She has always been an active member of the college campus community and has experience in faculty and program development. Dr. Watley holds graduate-level degrees in the fields of counseling and communication. Her work in education began during her doctoral studies at Howard University, where she taught undergraduate courses throughout her time in the doctoral program in organizational communication. After graduating with her doctorate, she began her career in higher education at Queen's University of Charlotte in North Carolina. She then built a career at several community colleges throughout the Carolinas, Minnesota, and Texas. Her most recent position was at Walden University, a fully online university. For almost 9 years, she served as an academic program director in the College of Management and Technology, working with bachelor, master, and doctoral degree students. So I'm very pleased to introduce Dr. Watley. And Dr. Watley, do you have a few words for us today?
Yes. Good evening to President Ayala and Acting Chancellor Dr. Elva LeBlanc, and to the rest of the Board of Trustees. I am so excited and humbled to have joined TCC April 1st. So I don't think I've quite made 3 months yet. But I have, since joining, been in awe of the wonderful administrators and employees as a whole, but certainly the faculty, because of course that's my soft spot, and to be able to head up a brand new office within academic affairs called Faculty Affairs. And we are hiring for this office as well to build a team. We are charged with very important topics such as overseeing faculty credentialing, as well as building a handbook for our faculty, which has not existed in the past. We also want to give some oversight to our contracting that we do for faculty. And we want to really ensure that our faculty are recognized for the excellent work that they do. So we will take a look at the processes involved in promotion and rank, as well as tenure. Certainly that was being discussed today too. and how we award development leave, and how we recognize excellence in teaching. So we have a lot to do, but what I've been most impressed with since joining is just how welcoming everyone has been, and I'm open to the challenge, so thank you for allowing me to be here.
Well, welcome, Dr. Watley. We're glad to have you. Yes. Did you have a comment, Mr. Greenhill? No.
Challenge is an understatement.
Well, we certainly are glad to have you join the family.
Thank you.
And you have a huge role, because we are certainly very appreciative and value our staff and our faculty, and we want each and every one of them to feel valued, because we do appreciate the work. And the work that we're doing with our students is very, very important, and they are a large part of that. So thank you. Anyone else? Welcome. We're so glad.
Thank you.
I hope this Texas heat is not scaring you yet. It will get cooler. Just hang on. Thank you and welcome. Okay.
So, thank you, Dr. Watley. Couple things. I hope you take time to review all the accolades and the wonderful things that are taking place on the different campuses. Additionally, Shannon Bryant was invited to an aviation conference where she made a lot of important connections. She gave presentations and made connections that will benefit the college in the near future. And then finally, linked to aviation, there was an aviation story on WFAA. And do you have that, Reginald? Not that one. Okay. No. Reginald, work with me here.
It's canceled. It's canceled. It's canceled. It's canceled. Partly due to a shortage of pilots.
Start over. That's good.
Travelers have endured a lot of issues in recent days. Airlines canceled thousands of flights over the holiday weekend, partly due to a shortage of pilots. And just yesterday, American Airlines announced it's going to drop service to 4 cities in the U.S. this fall. What's behind the struggle to meet surging demand?
Summer travel is taking off, but airlines are struggling to keep up. A severe pilot shortage in the U.S. is contributing to flight delays, cancellations, and travel headaches. On Tuesday, more than 1,300 pilots with Southwest Airlines stood outside of Dallas Love Field and picketed. They say they're understaffed and overworked.
We're not happy with where we see this summer going.
That's Casey Murray, president of the Southwest Airlines Pilots Association.
A lot of what we've seen are these reassignments of pilots. That's where the delays are coming from.
He says it's leading to pilot fatigue and burnout. They want better scheduling. So what's behind the shortage? An aging workforce has a lot to do with it. Regional Airline Association says 13% of the country's airline pilots will reach retirement age in the next 5 years. Over at Tarrant County College,
We have a blast.
an aviation program is part of the solution.
The industry got behind, and so it's very critical.
Dean Clint Grant is training the next generation of pilots.
We know one day we're going to get on an airplane, and one of our students will be there, so we want it to be right.
While safety comes first here, the reality is they can't train these students fast enough. The airline pilot shortage is real and will cost all of us. American Airlines is suspending services to 4 U.S. cities in Iowa, New York, and Ohio. The airline citing pilot shortages.
In the next few months and the next few years, even through the end of this decade, there are going to be a challenge hiring pilots.
A challenge that leaves people across U.S. airports scrambling. In Fort Worth, I'm Adrienne.
So I didn't know I was that important. Anyway, right. So I spoke with Clint this morning, and he said they interviewed him for 2 hours, and they put 2 seconds. And I said, well, you know, that's how it goes. Thank you. That's all I have for today.
Thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Alanis, 7D, we have the bond sale postponement, please.
Yeah, and actually, I want to start with actually something kind of fun related to this. We, in conjunction with the bond sale, our financial advisors volunteered to do a student experience with us to teach an economics class about how a real bond sale would work. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do the bond sale as a follow-up, but you've got some photos here. But I want to thank Hamid Sahuli, who was the instructor of that course, who jumped at the opportunity to have them come in and do that. We have several photos of that, and so Adrian Galvan is here, and I've got Jennifer Arndt on the line as well. And so they got great questions from the students, and it was a wonderful real-life opportunity for them to see about careers that involve economics and hear about some of the challenges of our time. So. Oh yeah, we could do a special. I think I learned a few things in it too. So yeah, they made it fun too. They had a Kahoot, game. Questions and answers and things that the students could do. So it was very interactive and fun. But impressive group of students, too. They went around the room and introduced what their plans are, and it was an impressive group. So now on to really while we're here, obviously some things happened last week with the announcement of worse than expected inflation news that really sort of rattled the markets and created some challenges for the sale that we had been planning to do on Tuesday. We paused that, and part of it was also that we knew we wouldn't have the opportunity for trading on Monday since it was Juneteenth to allow us to see how the market was reacting. We've regrouped a bit, and this may not be the right slide. That's not the right slide. I'm sorry. You can just take that down and I'll speak to it. So there's a couple of options for us moving forward because I think the horizon looks such that that things are not going to get markedly better over time. So it's a matter of us being strategic in order to get the best result that we possibly can. So there's a couple of options for how you normally do this. We had recommended a competitive sale because those are always the most transparent, the most open to all of the different bidders on our bonds and so on. No, that's not the right one either. So that's okay. Just take it down and we'll because we're going to do part of it in closed session because there's some legal issues around it. But anyway, that was our original recommendation, was the competitive sale. There's also the options for a negotiated sale. The challenge with reverting to a normal negotiated sale at this point is that the earliest we could get that done would be July the 19th. So it would take us a bit of time, and that would be after subsequent inflation rates. Under inflation data is released, and then just before the next Fed meeting, so that presents some challenges as well. You don't, under state law, have to do a competitive bidding process for a negotiated sale to select your underwriter. However, that's best practice in order to have complete fairness in the market, and so we're actually recommending something sort of in between, which is to piggyback on another recent competitive process to evaluate and receive bids for negotiated for an underwriter in a negotiated sale. Because we think that will allow us to, as early as Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, to go ahead and get into the market and have a little bit more control over the outcome. There's some specific challenges in Texas right now that are legal issues that we'll cover in closed session. You don't have to take any action today because the order that you approved last month actually authorized staff with a full range of tools that we're going to be talking about as well, but we thought that this would be a really good opportunity to share with you where we are. But what we'll do is we'll go into closed session to talk about some of the legal issues that are guiding the direction that we're recommending on this as well, if you don't mind. Okay.
No, we'll hold on our questions until we get into
Closed session. Yes.
Bill? Okay, all right. Okay, thank you for that. All right. So we'll go ahead and enter into closed session. And the TCCD board will conduct a closed meeting as authorized by Section 551 of the Texas Government Code in order to seek the advice of its attorneys, deliberate real property matters, deliberate personnel matters, or deliberate security devices or security audits. Okay, thank you. Okay, the board will now reconvene in open session. Dr. Eugene Giovannini has resigned as Chancellor of Tarrant County College District. Do I have a motion from the board to exercise the district's right pursuant to Section 5.3 of Dr. Giovannini's employment agreement to direct Dr. Giovannini to vacate the office of the Chancellor with immediate effect?
I'll make such a motion.
Okay, Mr. Greenhill, I need a second. Second by Dr. Morrison. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion from the board to appoint Dr. Elva LeBlanc as interim chancellor of Tarrant County College District, effective as of June 24, 2022, and continuing thereafter for an indeterminate period?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. DeKine.
Second?
Second by Mr. Greenhill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The board knows that Dr. Elva LeBlanc will continue the exceptional work and leadership she has already been providing as acting chancellor. We have every confidence in Dr. LeBlanc and the entire leadership team. As trustees, we reaffirm our pledge to remain keenly focused on further nurturing and advancing the college's vital mission and values for the benefit of our students, faculty, staff, and all community stakeholders. Okay, we'll now go ahead and now adjourn. Just a reminder that our next meeting will be in August of 2022. Do I have a motion? We adjourn by Mr. Parr.
Second.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you.